Alright guys, I got another one here on the table. We actually have two on the table. And this Craftsman Weed Whacker we're going to look at in a little bit. But I pulled this one out. It's a Ryobi. It's an S430. It's a 4-cycle trimmer. And actually it's capable of different attachments. But I got it like this, as you see it. So I'm going to probably take both of them outside and give them a rinse. And just to get some of the schmutz off. And we'll take it from there. You know, just a hosing. Maybe I'll take a couple of pieces of plastic off, get in a little bit deeper, and let's find out what we get. Right? They do pull, a little difficult, but hopefully it's not destroyed.
Later.
Okay, guys, let's get started on this. We're gonna dive in and see what happens and see what we find. And as my good buddy Carb over there in the UK likes to say, suss it out. Suss it out, Arch. Suss it out. So we're gonna suss this thing out, and he likes to tell me that, you know, it's made out of aluminium. It's not aluminum, it's aluminium. I hope I got that right. So let's see what we had. It's a nice machine, right? Look how nice this looks. And we'll get a little deeper into it. What do you think? It's wet from something. And we're going to want to blow that out a little bit. Let's get a jumper cable on it. Let's clamp it to something. That's a ground. So stop is momentary. So it should be good to go. Let's give it a pull. Oh, we got spark. Okay. Now there's some stuff coming out of, I don't know what the stuff is. Could be water. Let's get some of our magic juice. And again, for those of you guys that may not know, is I use the 2-stroke and I mix tranny fluid in with it. Pull it slow so it throws up. We'll work it through a few times. Seems like it's alright. Okay, let's pour down a little bit down in here. Just to get some of it going through. Now, why tranny fluid? Well, first of all, the gasoline is like a a solvent and also a vehicle for the oil of the 2-stroke, which is really good. And then the tranny fluid's got a lot of detergents in it. It's got stuff in it that will loosen up the carbon and the junk on the rings and in the valves, and it'll also help chase the water out, because, you know, all my machines, they all get washed. And for the machines that really get washed or have been sitting, not only do you want to loosen up the junk that's in there, but, you know, you want to kind of polish up the cylinder walls a little bit. And the 2-stroke with the tranny fluid in it, those detergents and those things that they have in the tranny fluid, gotta love that. That's what really helps to do it, because in a transmission you can't have any dirt, none. Any dirt goes in that transmission, you got to have ways of dissolving it, and you also got to keep all those seals moist and hydrated and from wearing, because the transmission would fail. Trannies get hot and they can fail. All right, so we know we got spark. Let's see what we have for compression. This may not fit, so I don't think we're going to get this thing in there. Yeah, this is a different plug. I don't have a fitting for this, so we're going to have to just guess it. Now we need to clean that up. So we're not going to be able to do that. I'm going to need to make up some different adapters. One thing I'd like to do is put a little bit of a 2-stroke down in here. We'll get some oil in there too. All right, now the next thing we want to do is we want to get in here and see what's going on here. But before we do that, let's take a look in the carburetor and see what the fuel line status is. So just checking out the fuel line. So you know you've got some kind of a fuel line here. This is some kind of a vent with a check valve. And generally speaking, the line that's closest to the body of the carburetor is usually the pickup. So that's this one here, and let's find out. I can tell you those lines are a mess. All right, so in this case, I don't think that's the case. So this is a little different setup. So it's this line that is our pickup, and it's a little tired. Now, Just because they're a little tired doesn't mean that we won't use them. We can try it out like that. It looks pretty good. It looks like there's gasoline in there, but it also looks like it's regular gas, and that's what should be in here, is regular gas, because it is 4-stroke. And another thing I'll mention too is that these guys are very susceptible to the oil. The oil's got to be changed every season. In fact, the more you do it, the better off you are, because they just are very prone to any issues with the oil. So let's just see if we can get this apart in one piece. We'll take a peek inside the carb. You can see all these connectors are, these lines are on real tight. That's why I like to use this stuff, a screwdriver. See if we can pry it back. That really helps to get it off. It allows it to slide. Now, so this guy here is our pickup, and it comes over to this right angle line, and this guy is the vent. So let's see if we can get those out too before we take anything. Try and pry it off a little bit. Sometimes if you twist them a little, like if you just do this when you put the 2-stroke on it. See? How easy it comes off. It just does it. It just allows them to slide right off. So again, this is the one that's supposed to be the pickup. Now we just have the throttle cable, which I just pulled straight out. It seems a little bit loose. So we want to get in here. This looks pretty clean. I did wash it off quite a bit. So let's take a peek at that. That looks good. Let's see. Oh, that's in beautiful shape, this diaphragm. This all looks good. Put a little lubricant on it. There's no good pry point per se. Let's loosen it up. It's stuck on there pretty good. I don't want to ruin it because it's in such good shape that we need to get it apart. Let's just tap it. It's one screw right there. There we go. Yeah, see, risk damaging it. This helps to get it off. See, that looks real clean, guys. There's a spring in here. Now, I don't see any reason to take it apart anymore. It could be something in there. I don't see any mess. I don't think the problem is in the carburetor. Let's give it a wash. Brake cleaner. I mean, you don't want to wash it in anything that can affect it. So that's why I'm using the 2-stroke with the tranny fluid, because it's not going to affect it. picking up. You can use a green stick as well. Okay. It helps break the seal. There's your spring. Looks good. Now, we gotta be careful with taking this off. There's sometimes a surprise in there. I think we should take that out. Let's not take this out yet. It's so clean, I don't see the point. Yeah. All right, but we can blow it out. So let me get this part here. We gotta get the tool for that. We'll check to see how many turns it's in, and we can rinse that. Pac-Man. That's what they call it. All right, so from here we'll go in. That's one turn. So basically they have it one turn out. We're going to need to readjust it, but still. Okay, now let's just give it a rinse. And some low pressure air will blow it. We'll set that aside. Now let's take a look at this guy. She looks real good. I don't see any issues here. There's nothing in here that you really need to worry about, although that diaphragm, you don't want to be setting that diaphragm in there. It's like a valve. You mind, these guys are always pushing fuel through, so that shouldn't be a problem. This, I'm just going to put a little bit of our 2-stroke tranny fluid on that and just let it set aside. Now this guy we got to get in here, so we want to put yeah, it's going to be tough. There's no good place to get at it. It's real fragile. We got it. Yeah, that stuff really helps. And if you have to, just soak it for a little bit. All right, we'll put that to the side. Now this we can rinse. You want it to press it. You want it to press the fulcrum here to lift the seat, the valve off the seat. The screen is clean. There's nothing wrong here. There really wasn't. Let's just give it a light blow. Yeah, we'll blow in a little bit through here. Okay. Now these diaphragms, they should be very subtle. Like, what's the word? Supple is the word. If they're not, then they're no good. So here's our spring. Goes in this direction. Little hole. See the wire. take a minute to align it. And just reverse the cross pattern. All right, that's good. Get a 2-stroke on it to make sure that's good to go and clean and lubed. All right, we're golden here, guys. So now, the only thing we can do now, we have one more thing to do. We got to make sure this is clean. Put a little bit of your 2-stroke down in that port. It's nice and clean. I just kind of just pulled it apart, ran my finger over it. On this one, it's a Pac-Man, so let's turn it in lightly. We'll bring it at 1 turn. That's good. Okay, we're good here. All right, let's just put this to the side. And so we know we have spark, we got a good carb. We need to clean the plug. And let me do that before I go any further. And I'm just going to start off by just running it on the wheel, and then we're going to blast it. You know, you've got to really clean these plugs if you sandblast them. Briggs says don't ever do it, because they did some tests back in the 60s. And they found that a lot of sand was getting into the engines and destroying the engines. You can imagine. But suffice to say, probably the guys, that mechanics that were fixing lawnmowers back then, the small engines, they probably weren't really cleaning them well. So you really got to rinse them out and blow them with compressed air. That'd be high pressure air too. You know, it's good. Let's check the cap. We want this at about 25. Let me put this away. All right, let's check it. We'll put a little anti-seize on it. That's good. 25. All right, let's put this to the side. Now, so nothing on the table that's missing that I can tell. Now we're going to need to test what's going on with this. And the tank, we should blow it out now with a little high pressure air. It looks pretty clean. Also, the filter itself. Put a little, you can't see that, but we're just going to put a little bit of scum out down there, both of them. A little bit at a time. All right, let's put this guy back. All right, now we'll get in here. We know the spark. Just grab the magneto and make sure it's tight. It should be adjusted correctly. Sometimes they loosen up. You'd know, all right, it would move. We're going to look at the valves now. I like these long tools. They're great for torque. Yeah, let's see. Looks like it's got a nice little gasket here. Should just pop right up. There we go. Yeah, the oil's dirty. Very dirty. Oh my goodness. This is like grease. Yeah, that's no good. We got to get the oil out. And then we got to check it. Now with the plug out, we can see. We're just looking for any damage on the cam. and I don't see any. Alright, so now we need to set up for valve lash. So I'm going to go get some tools together, and we'll come back and we'll do valve lash. But just to set it up so you can see, this is intake lobe, intake valve. And so now we're turning it. Right, there goes the intake valve. Now is the exhaust valve. And we can see it here that we're going to be coming up to top. We're ready to do at least a valve clearance check. And you can also tell, because we're at the base circle of the cam, when I talk about that, the base circle is really down here, okay, on the cam, where the lobe, at the high part of the lobe, is the top, but the base circle is here. So we're real close to that base circle, and I can see it. And that's about where we want to be. We have no valve movement. Alright, so we'll be back in a bit, and we're going to set up to do that.
20 minutes later.
So I just stuck a pencil in here, put a little mark on it. And we just want to see. I'm just kind of, I think that's going down, and that's coming up. And that is like TDC right here. So this is very much the base circle right here, and you can see the cam lobes are going down for the most part. This one's starting to come up, but you're pretty close, and you really can't back up because of the recoil. Now 4 to 5 is what most of these little engines are. There we go. It's really hard. It doesn't have a there is a keeper. Now, there's a keeper on either side. It helps keep this from moving. So we're going to need something else to stick in there. Okay, you can't use a flat feeler gauge on this. And let's see, I should have a small wire or something. Okay guys, now to do this job, you're going to need an extra set of some feeler gauges. And I cut mine the width, this width, which is just a little bit wider than the top of the valve. And the reason is that, and this is an old trick for like the old Chevy and Pontiac Ford motors, that you bought rocker arms that had shoulders on them. That way the rocker arm couldn't wobble too far. It's a shoulder on either side. So you're going to need to get between that shoulder. So I took a 4/1000 gauge, okay, and I went in there. Okay, and otherwise you're not going to be able to read it. Now we're going to tighten it down until it starts to grab that gauge. And this is 4/1000. So it's to get in between those shoulders. And you're going to just need to make it. It's close. Let's see if we can back it off a little. Almost. A little too tight. It is 4/1000, so well, that's getting better. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's see what this one does. Oh, that's way too loose. Yeah, let's back it off a little. It's just a little too tight. I think that did it. Yeah, that's good. Alright, we're going to go with that right now. Let's put this back together. And let's get some fuel in it. Dirty. I don't think it has enough oil in it. I mean, there's some. Certainly enough to run it. They want a 2050. So they want a thick oil in here. So let's get some gas in it and we'll do a test. Plenty of Petras. All right, let's just see if we have this working. Oh yeah. All right, we'll put a little bit of our 2-stroke in here. Just to wet the bed, choke it. Let's pull it. Pull it! Not getting anything. Let's try it now. Uh-oh. Alright guys, I don't want to run any longer. We want to get that oil out, okay? So I'm going to focus on that. I don't have 2050, but I do have 1040 with some Lucas conditioner, which will sweeten that up. Let's mix it up. I got some 40 weight here, which gets us pretty close, and we're just going to put in a little bit of this nice this nice stuff here. We shouldn't need too much. That should do it. And this is just an oil thickener from Lucas. Heavy duty oil stabilizer. Great stuff. Alright, just mix it up a little bit. Now, I don't know how much oil these things take, so we're going to put a little in and test it. Oh, yeah, that's honey, alright. It's some dino juice. You know, oil doesn't actually come from dinosaurs. No. This is what was in it. Right? Not very much, and there was a little bit of oil in that pan. By the looks of it, you know, you can see it goes in, so it's probably like right at the bottom of those threads, like a lot of machines. Okay, what do you think? We've got to put the covers in it. Oh, it's too much. Yeah. Okay. We made a mess! It's a little too much. Let's just run it real quick while the windows are open and it's starting to rain. And just to work all that through and see how she's running. So we should need a little squirt since it's cold, a little choke. Okay, a couple of chokes. Oh yeah, get it! Sounds so healthy. Okay guys, what do you think? I think we worked this one out. It's pouring outside. I gotta go close up the shop a little bit, let this smoke, and I'm gonna rinse it out and we'll bring it back. But I gotta go get wet. All right, we'll be back in a little bit. We'll see with the dress pieces back on, and tomorrow I'm gonna look to see if I have something other than just that one attachment, and maybe we'll get lucky and maybe I can put a nice kit together for somebody. All right guys, this is sort of a last look. Now this one did not come with an air filter, so I made one, and I often grab just this small 1/4 to 1/2 inch foam. You find it in packing and things that come with foam padding. I find it works pretty darn good, so I'm going to put that on there. And the other thing I wanted to just mention, I mentioned earlier, is just pressure and stuff that just kind of builds up. Junk gets in here. Give it a quick squirt. Blow it out like I just did off camera, and you're good to go. Okay, and especially in the 2-stroke. I also put a squirt of oil down in here. Right, I had put some of the 2-stroke stuff in earlier, just to make sure that it's the cable's not going to rot. Let's just give it one more fire. And I also dug out some parts. We'll go over to the other spot, in the other room or something, and I'll see what fits. But let's just give it another. I just can't take it. I love it. Another quickie here. A couple of pulls. Now we'll go to half choke. Okay, so I have it adjusted, but what we want to do is I'm going to let it kind of hang out tonight, and tomorrow I'll test it. I always say this, guys, it really doesn't matter whether it's 4-stroke or one of these, like the S430 4-stroke. These bladders and carburetors are very sensitive. More so on the 2-stroke because you have the 2 adjustments. Run it up good, make an adjustment, see how it runs, get it to that, what we used to call this lean best. And then let it cool down, and then go back and do it one more time. And maybe what I like to do is when you find it's running really good, back it out just to see here, and then let it sit, and then try it again, and just let it cool down between test fires. So I'm going to check it again tomorrow. I don't want to let it run anymore in here. I'm starting to close up, so I don't want to stink it out. All right, we'll be back in a minute. Let's see what connects to it. But this is it, guys. If you guys want to take off now, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Don't forget, I really appreciate it. We've got this the S430 back to life, and we went through a few things on it, and she's just a really nice machine, very durable. When the belt breaks, though, you do have some problems, and I always recommend that you, every year, get in here and change this oil, okay? Check it regularly and get in there and change it, because it means the difference between this thing running or not. All right, we'll be back in a few. Oh, just go on. Okay, guys, we're at the end of the day. I just wanted to go over a few things. This is the Ryobi cutter head. We're going to test that tomorrow, and we'll lubricate it. This is from something else I don't remember. And this one you actually put the string in manually and you loop it through, which is kind of nice. This is off of Craftsman. Whoop. That one I don't think I'm going to use anyway. This one is just a curved head version. We'll test that tomorrow as well. The blower fits. And this is pretty angry, huh? 4-point blade. Wow. I almost want to keep that. I don't know what you'd use that for, but that's nice. So, all driven by this one tool. So so basically you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attachments, and the blower is nice as well. So the trick is we're going to test them all out tomorrow, and we can make some smoke, and then I can price it, because I think there's quite a decent amount here. I can maybe sell all of this in one shot. Somebody gets all of this whole kit, put a decent price on it, and let the people decide. And then all this would be gone in one shot. Towards the end of the season, we're coming into fall. It's not quite fall yet. We're at the beginning of October. So I think that would be really cool. I'll see you guys in a bit. And And again, we'll see if this works tomorrow for those of you guys that want to stay. If not, Archer's Garage. Thanks, guys.